In a modern music industry landscape heavily dominated by digital algorithms and manufactured personas, the emergence of Angelina Jordan over a decade ago remains one of the most significant anomalies in the history of global talent broadcasting. Archival broadcasting records document that at just 8 years old, she won Norway's Got Talent by performing a classic jazz repertoire that was technically deemed far too complex for a child's vocal range. Her iconic decision to perform barefoot on major stages was never a mere visual gimmick, but rather a profound declaration of personal comfort that later transformed into a universal symbol of artistic authenticity. Once the industry recognized the massive commercial magnetism she possessed, multinational record label Republic Records moved swiftly to secure her signature, transitioning the young artist from her quiet Scandinavian environment straight into the turbulent epicenter of the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, California. This initial step marked the phase where a child prodigy was officially integrated into the global entertainment capitalism machine, an ecosystem defined by strict corporate regulations and massive quarterly capitalization targets. However, industry historical records note a jarring contradiction. How could an artist with such a raw, organic, medieval-tinged vocal character survive under the immense pressure of a corporate management structure that typically demands the standardization of modern electronic pop music? Her period of settling in Los Angeles marked the beginning of a quiet cultural and idealistic clash behind closed studio doors. Public documents tracking her career trajectory during this era indicate a subtle but steady shift in music production styles, moving away from her inherently raw traditional soul jazz roots toward arrangements that were noticeably friendlier to mainstream commercial radio. Independent industry analysts observed unpublicized creative tensions, where the artist's long-term vision of producing works driven by profound poetic narratives had to constantly collide with the immediate financial targets of executive producers. This pattern is notoriously common in the Hollywood ecosystem, where unique raw talents are frequently funneled into generic commercial pop molds to minimize financial risks for parent conglomerates. The relentless pressure to consistently generate viral digital content during a critical teenage transitional period reportedly created an invisible barrier between the musician's genuine creative desires and the binding contractual obligations that severely restricted her artistic freedom. This shifting dynamic became explicitly clear when her official release schedule slowed down significantly, a strong indication that the creative engine that once ran in perfect harmony had begun experiencing deep internal friction. This clash of artistic ideologies eventually reached a critical point where control over creative ownership became a subject of intense debate among entertainment law experts. Angelina Jordan, who notoriously processes her musical compositions personally alongside her closest family circle, including profound artistic contributions from her grandmother, Murray Zamani, was reportedly highly reluctant to accept third-party track submissions that she felt did not align with her musical soul. Music journalism history shows that the restriction of creative space is almost always the primary catalyst for severe rifts between idealistic musicians and major label managements. On one hand, the corporation held absolute power over global distribution, marketing networks, and legal protection. On the other hand, the sheer vocal integrity that formed the artist's core strength was at risk of severe overcommodification. Speculation circulating among media analysts pointed to long, exhausting negotiations taking place entirely behind the scenes, perfectly reflecting the classic, timeless battle of pure art versus a strictly sales-oriented industry. The fundamental question that subsequently surfaced to the public was, exactly how high of a price must a vocal genius pay when they decide to completely reject a formula for instant success just to preserve the pure essence of their sound? By the end of 2024 and entering early 2025, the total silence from her official management triggered widespread speculation among the global music critic community. Without any formal press releases regarding the cancellation or continuation of a major studio album project, the public began reading signs of an indefinite delay, what is commonly known in industry terms as development hell. Taking legal steps to break away from a major label contract is a decision historically viewed as career suicide for a young artist, given the immense global dependence on conventional corporate promotional infrastructure. The risks of losing immediate access to primary streaming playlists, facing covert boycotts from prominent radio syndicates, and enduring massive financial penalties for contract termination were very real. Media analyses at the time estimated that the singer's global career was standing at its most critical crossroads, where even a single misstep could permanently bury her immense potential away from the world's main stages. In the midst of this seemingly deadlocked situation, a few independent copyright registration documents leaked to the public, quietly indicating that secret legal maneuvers were being actively prepared by her family's legal team. Moving into 2025, a massive shockwave hit the industry when confirmation of Angelina Jordan's independent status was finally revealed to the public through decentralized distribution channels. This radical move marked the official end of her partnership with the corporate giant, stunning many insiders who fully expected her to eventually yield to the pressures of the corporate system. Far from fading away, the artist launched a massive cultural counteroffensive by unveiling a highly ambitious independent album Trilogy project, which began with Secret of the Soul and Secret of the Star. The ultimate climax arrived in March 2026, when she released the final installment titled Secret of Love without a single dollar of Hollywood corporate marketing backing. Through this self-released distribution strategy, she proved definitively that the modern digital ecosystem allows an independent musician to connect directly with an international fanbase, bypassing the conventional label bureaucracies that so often censor creative expression. Digital tracking data revealed a phenomenon that completely inverted traditional market theories. Despite lacking multi-million-dollar billboard campaigns, the organic engagement metrics and streaming numbers for all three independent albums pierced international charts completely on their own merit. The radical decisions executed throughout the past year leading into mid-2026 are now serving as an intensive case study among music business law academics, a phenomenon analysts are officially calling the Jordan Blueprint. This model redefines how a 21st-century artist can maintain absolute ownership over their master recordings while successfully exploiting digital distribution platforms entirely on their own terms. Reports indicate that the conventional label model failed to dictate Angelina's audience behavior because of the sheer power of a highly dedicated digital community that prioritizes emotional value over synthetic, forced algorithmic trends. This unprecedented success has sent a strong warning signal directly to executive boardrooms in Los Angeles and New York, proving that the traditional monopoly of industry gatekeepers is slowly crumbling in front of independent artists who possess both an authentic vision and a sharp understanding of modern distribution technology. This seismic shift in the balance of power means control is no longer dictated by the size of a record company's financial capital, but rather by the strength of the authentic psychological bond an artist can build directly with their audience. Empirical proof of the viability of this independent strategy materialized grandly in early 2026 through her highly exclusive live performance runs. Reports from the live entertainment industry confirmed that her exclusive residency at the International Theater within the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas achieved staggering ticket sales, maintaining an acoustic seating capacity that hovered near perfection. On that legendary stage, local media reports highlighted Angelina's strict technical decision to perform complex vocal arrangements like Unchained Melody and Run to You Completely Live, entirely rejecting digital pitch correction software or auto-tune. This raw, minimalist production approach heavily leveraged the venue's pure theatrical acoustics, proving to critics that her primary draw lies in a raw vocal quality that no modern studio machine can replicate. The massive financial success and critical acclaim in Las Vegas served as absolute validation that taking an independent path does not diminish an artist's prestige in the eyes of elite global promoters. This record-breaking ticket run leaves a massive question for industry observers. If unmanipulated live vocal purism can attract such massive market demand, why do major labels continue to relentlessly manufacture artificial pop music? Despite this overwhelming wave of success, several investigative reports from independent music journals suggest a tone of caution when evaluating the long-term stability of this self-sustained ecosystem. Certain insider reports speculate that the mainstream industry environment may be quietly implementing subtle, restrictive policies against artists who openly challenge the status quo of major label systems. Rumors have circulated among commercial radio programmers that breaking into mainstream commercial playlists has become noticeably harder for independent releases from the Secret of Love project. Angelina's management team has never issued an official statement confirming any form of institutional boycott. However, they have implemented incredibly strict digital copyright protections during her live concerts to prevent the unauthorized commercialization of her raw live performances. This defensive legal strategy is viewed by some analysts as a calculated move to preserve the ultimate exclusivity of her art, while others see it as a necessary shield against potential exploitation by predatory third-party distributors. Yet behind that ironclad curtain of legal protection, whispers have emerged that several elite European booking agencies are currently approaching her management with offers for an entirely new breed of hybrid partnership models. From a technical sound production perspective, the material throughout her 2026 album Trilogy displays characteristics that radically deviate from standard commercial pop production. Audio waveform analysis reveals a significant, deliberate reliance on pure acoustic instrumentation, such as live grand pianos, organic orchestral string ensembles, and vocal isolation featuring minimal dynamic range compression. The complete absence of hyperprocessed production layers allows her unique, deep contralto vocal color to remain completely dominant, delivering an immediate emotional impact and flawless breath control that has become her sonic trademark. These technical characteristics directly enhance her narrative storytelling ability within the tracks, where the transitions between heavy low registers and crystalline falsettos occur seamlessly without the intervention of aggressive digital editing tools. This bold arrangement choice proves that dynamic, organic audio quality possesses a far superior shelf life in the ears of genuine music purists compared to heavily compressed, artificially loud tracks designed strictly to satisfy streaming platform algorithms. This technical paradox vividly demonstrates that in a hyper-digitalized era dominated by computers, the 20th century analog recording philosophy she preserves has ironically become the most modern weapon to capture the hearts of global audiences. Heading into the latter half of 2026, Angelina Jordan's position within the global music landscape has officially transformed from a former child prodigy into one of the most influential icons of artistic resistance in her generation. Internal leaks regarding an upcoming immersive global virtual concert series indicate that she has no intention of slowing down her exploration of alternative distribution methods. Through the consistent commercial and critical triumphs of her Secret of Love album, she has not only rescued her own career from the looming threat of corporate stagnation, but she has also mapped out a brand new pathway for the next generation of young musicians worldwide to reclaim absolute control over their creative destinies. History will likely remember the year 2026 as the precise turning point where the power structures of Hollywood music were no longer decided by corporate executives in boardroom meetings, but rather by the unstoppable force of an authentic voice that flatly refused to be silenced by a commercial mold. As the curtain of 2026 continues to unfold, the global entertainment industry can only look on as an anxious spectator, waiting to see just how deeply this independent blueprint will permanently reshape the future of the entertainment business.